to Chick-fil-A for providing all of our good eats out here on the range today. It was really nice. Beautiful day down here in Southwest Louisiana, and be able to have that kind of food over here with Chick-fil-A is pretty awesome. We're about to get rolling again with some pretty cool stuff. We've got a really cool demonstration right now with Predator silencers. We may go a little bit longer than normal on some of our, I guess, sections that we're doing today, if you will. But we've got several guys out here. We're going to shoot probably a good over half a dozen guns. And we've got several different types of suppressors on several different types of guns. And I think that's going to be a pretty cool little thing that we're going to do. So we're going to make our way back over here to the firing line here in a minute. We're going to get started with all of that. What I want to talk about real quick is a lot of the cool things that we've been able to do here today could not be possible if it wasn't for people like Daniel Defense, Spartan Armor, Strike Industries. A lot of these people have really gone above and beyond to give us, I guess, the means to do what we want to do here today. As you all know, we're never going to replace what we do in Nevada with SHOT Show, but at least this is a small piece of being able to still deliver a little bit of the range day on the normal day that we would have been out there in Boulder City, Nevada, shooting things on the range. And we've already, as you saw earlier, we premiered the VR82, the 20 gauge shotgun by Rock Island Armory. So we're able to still give that same feel of introducing rather some of these new products to the gun community out there by way of doing this. So really, it's fun for us to be able to still provide that. Again, don't forget, tomorrow we're going to have virtual booths. Some of our virtual booth guests will again be Rock Island Armory. We're going to have Pyramid Air. Really cool conversation with Pyramid Air to be able to talk about some of the benefits of utilizing air guns and airtight guns during this time of either no ammo or super ridiculously expensive ammo. So that's going to be an interesting conversation that we're going to have tomorrow. Probably have some follow-up videos on that too, because that's some videos that we put out in the past as a replacement for live fire, still be able to use some of these same types of weapons that are in fact they're licensed from the actual manufacturers that make them. In other words, a Glock 19, you may have a Glock 19 made by Pyramid Air that looks exactly like a Glock 19 because it's been licensed from Glock 19. The point being, you have that same look and feel of the weapon that you're already used to if it's your everyday carry gun. So that's what's neat. We're going to have a real cool conversation about that tomorrow. We'll be talking with Spartan Armor as well, Strike Industries as well. Danny, our good friend from Strike Industries, will be on the phone. Actually not on the phone, on video, and we'll be talking about him. Now, the cool thing about our virtual booth tomorrow is, remember, we're going to have our guests on screen with us. So we're going to be able to conduct most of that interview and that conversation. But you guys, through whatever means that you're watching this, will be able to ask questions yourselves, and we'll be able to monitor those questions and ask our guests those same questions. So if you have any relevant questions for what we're trying to talk about, certainly present those to us, and we'll filter through those and pull out the ones that, again, are relevant and ask our guests for those. So again, thanks to everybody that made this possible. It's a really cool event. We're enjoying this. Speaking of Spartan Armor, is one of our Spartan targets that we've been beating up pretty good today. What a great target this is. We're really excited to have these guys as one of our big sponsors for Legally Armed America down the road, because these guys are partnering with us long term, not just here today and tomorrow. We're going to make our way down range over here. In fact, let's go ahead and get over here and meet these guys. So we got a handful of guys over here that are going to be shooting different guns, and again, with different types of suppressors on different types of rifles. And we're just going to talk about the performance of the Predator silencers. So we're going to get started over here. Who do I have first up over here?
That would be me.
Hey, your name is? Bobby Sanders. Bobby Sanders. Bobby, who you with?
I'm with Predator Silencers. I do their military sales.
Okay.
And today I'm demonstrating the Lynx on the 22. That's one of my favorite weapons. This is a semi-automatic Ruger, and I've got two different velocities. And the first velocity is a 40 grain standard velocity bullet. With this temperature, it's probably not going to reach full velocity.
Okay.
Or go supersonic. And I also got 36 grain, which will most definitely go supersonic. So, so you can hear the difference. Well, I say that. There you go.
You can get it tighter.
Oh, stupid. Got tape on there. Hey guys, don't get tape off your magazine. Okay. And this is the 40 grain. you can tell, it's pretty quiet on just a pistol. We also have the same links on 15-inch bolt action rifle. You have a bear.
Who we got here?
I'm Rick Lofton.
Rick? Who you with, Rick?
With Code Blue Farms out of Ville, Louisiana.
Okay, let's see what you got, man.
I can see it's pretty quiet. Don't want to run all the rest of it. Good.
What's your name?
I'm Chris Daniel.
Chris, who are you with, Chris?
Half-cocked arms in Sunset.
Cool. Let's see what you got, man.
So this is a 223. We're shooting a lynx with it.
Get in a little tight.
Well, that's it.
All right. Who we got next, guys? Who's up next?
Kevin Ryan. Ryan with Rapid First.
I can get a little bit
These are
further.
the defenders.
And what are we shooting?
And he's got an AR in 5.56 as well, but he has a 10 and a half inch.
Barrel lengths, 16, probably 10 and a half.
Got you.
You go first. We'll just alternate.
These are the defender cans. Right there. Who we got next?
Me.
What's your name?
Shane Kessler.
Are you
I'm with
with Shane?
Rigger Real Hawk Control out of Alexandria.
Nice.
Shooting 7.62 by 39 with the 30 cal Defender. 30 cal Defender is a relatively new suppressor that Predator Silencers has come out with. A little slow getting on the market, but that's fixing to change.
we got now?
Rick Lawson again.
Okay. And who are you with, sir?
Chris Place,
Chris?
Guns and Ammo Disposal out of Calhoun,
Nice to
Louisiana.
meet you, Chris. So y'all shooting the
I'm
same?
shooting a MP5 with a short barrel. It's got the new D9 can for 9mm.
Okay.
I'm shooting the Navy setup on the MP5 on a almost 9-inch barrel. We'll hear a little bit of a sound difference. 124 grain NATO.
Got a 7.5-inch barrel here with the Defender, and normally this is obnoxiously loud, so this thing tames it really well.
All right. Yep, everything's good. All right, let's whoever shot this first, let's talk about that.
So you might be wondering why we started off with the Lynx, which is basically the baby brother of the silencers. This is actually slightly smaller than the Silencer Coast Sparrow. However, it's made to go on 22 by the 3/8 depth of the thread in which you thread it onto. However, you can put it on a 5.56 or a 2.23 and a 16.5-inch barrel. It is hearing safe. It comes with a threaded spacer that you just thread on before you put your silencer on there. Then we wanted you to see how really quiet it is on a 16-inch barrel. And then we put it on a 5.56 so that you can see how it actually works with a bolt action 5.56. Then we started moving up to the Defenders. Anybody else want to throw in their 2 cents here?
Yeah, so we shot the Colt import today with the Defender. If I'm not mistaken, Roy designed these at 1.3 inch in OD, outer diameter, to be able to fit under most handguards because individuals want to purchase longer forends and have the suppressor fit underneath it so we don't add to the overall length of the firearm. I like the Defender. It's lighter than a lot of other cans, but it also does a really good job of recoil mitigation. I find that the design itself is an absolute tank. It's a very, very durable design. We've tried to destroy them. I heard the other guys talking about they get their barrels red hot before the can even starts to warm up. So outstanding can for any AR or defensive platform.
I was looking mostly on when you guys sort of moving, especially into the fully automatic, is the lack of gas that you see, at least present.
Yeah, the blowback. No, it's zero blowback is what's really great on the Defender can.
I mean, I didn't see any of you guys with gas in your face.
None whatsoever.
If anything, I think I might, this one maybe right here by the gas block, I saw a little bit of gas, but there was none back here. That's probably the thing that was most noticeable to me.
That's why it's great for law enforcement. That's why operators like to use them. There's no blowback, not detrimental for any kind of visual or anything like that.
Let's talk about the 30 cal real quick, if you guys don't mind. You mentioned that this is a new can that's coming out soon. So what makes that different than other 30 cal cans? Obviously, it's bigger than some of the other cans.
Or, I mean, we can go from 5 baffles to 8 baffles in the core to 5. It's a little bit shorter. The sound mitigation between the 5 and 8's negligible. It's not that big of a deal, you know, and it overall creates the profile of the rifles a little bit shorter. Like I said, we use this on Feral Hawk Patrol. We did a lot of T&E with it when Roy first came out with it, and we put a lot of abuse on this can with 308, and it's held up. No blowback in our face because we're always trying to go into the wind, so the wind's going to constantly be blowing in our face, and it just takes abuse, and it works great.
If you guys are doing, like you said, hog management with that,
Right.
what are you finding? Are you wearing hearing protection out in the field?
We don't wear any hearing protection at all.
Okay.
None.
Actually, when you were shooting that, I pulled my earmuffs off just to see, and it's pretty.
Oh,
it's very reasonable.
Especially when you have 4 other guys lined up on your left and right. We can talk normally, and we don't have to worry about having wear ear pro. We bring people with us occasionally, and they'll show up with an ear pro. Like, we'll just leave it in the truck. We're not going to need it.
Well, I know one thing Roy has always prided himself on is not trying to come out with the quietest suppressor.
Right.
He's trying to get full functionality out of
Right.
it and trying to get the performance out of it. And, that's always, he's right when he says that you reach a certain threshold where your ears aren't hurting anymore. So why do you have to keep
Right.
going below that? It's kind of
Right.
pointless.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I was still impressed that
Mhm.
wasn't his primary goal
Right.
to quieten this thing's, totally, but it was very quiet.
Right. One of the things I like about it too is I haven't experienced any POI shift. If my rifle is zeroed, I can take it off this rifle, throw it on back on my 308, and my zero is still
Really?
there. Yes.
Well, I mean, those of you that have had this super long in-depth conversation with Roy understand how he designed this thing to keep the gas behind the actual
Right.
projectile. I mean,
Right.
that's ingenious the way he designed this thing. I don't think enough people appreciate the fact that it's not just another suppressor, that there's actually something that went into Roy's overall design. And that's
And the ability to take it apart and clean it
exactly
is
yeah.
it puts it above everything else.
Yep.
And this Pantera can is just right there with the
Yeah.
the D30.
Yeah, I run a Pantera on my 6.5 Creedmoor, and we keep that in the truck just to the field to shoot a pig a long way, a long boar.
Mhm.
We pull it out, and it's the same way, no POI shift, super quiet, lightweight. And when you take it apart to look at it, you're just amazed at the internal components. Like, how is he getting this
Right.
quiet with this minimal amount of components?
Math.
Yeah, yeah.
Math and science.
So,
Let's talk about his new designs. I'm excited about these MP5 suppressors over here. Let's talk a little bit about those.
He designed these specifically. I'm gonna take these off. He designed these specifically over the MP5 itself. It was a Zenith version, but this is the first one to our knowledge that's been designed from the MP5 up and not retrofitted back. So his goal was the lack of blowback, because if you've ever shot an MP5 old school, yeah, you're going to get some on your face. You got to wear the glasses or the SDs. But super quiet. We shot 124s through this. I've actually ran this one through, not this gun itself, a different one with that can though, through a PCC match, and we had to have the timer at the muzzle, otherwise we weren't even getting
No kidding.
readings on it. But no point on impact shift. And then his big thing was he wanted to make sure that no matter which way you put it on the tri-lug, it would still get the same. You weren't going to get it on one and it would be one direction versus the other. So and even on the MP5K with the shorter barrel, it's super quiet.
And do you notice any difference between running those, especially on 3-lug, versus any other one that you're running? What's the significant difference you might find?
I haven't noticed a severe difference. My department's had 5 MP5s for decades, and we never ran them suppressed up until we started playing with his
Okay.
there. On the same
POI
side,
changes.
the one
Your point of impact changes when you have different lugs. I've seen that they don't go on the same way on every one. You have a shift, but on these, we haven't found me. I haven't really been in the D9 as much as they have.
Okay.
Yeah,
POI
but super easy to take apart. He sends you all the tools with it when you get it. It's been phenomenal. I've shot it on a pistol, although it wasn't designed for that, and he doesn't try to push it towards that because it is a little heavy for a pistol. But for MP5, it's phenomenal. Plus, you can put the 3-lug mount on any other thing,
Right.
the same threads, and you can run the same setup. But we've got the defenders on our SWAT guns, full auto M16s, 10.5-inch barrels. Other than ours are Frankenstein guns, so we had to fight a little gas issues just tuning each gun for it. But adjustable gas blocks, the new buffer spring, it was great. And then all of our sniper rifles has got his Panteras, and we love them. They're great setup.
Have any of you guys had any issues noticing that he doesn't have a whole lot of gas that's actually coming back? Are y'all noticing any kind of a difference on adjusting gas blocks or anything like that whenever you're using any of his suppressors?
So we went with the Strike Industries adjustable gas block and found that was the best for our guns, just because it was adjustable in the field. You didn't have to have an Allen wrench,
Right.
anything like that. Most of them that we put that gas block on, we'd have to do anything else to. If you played with suppressors much, you're going to have to tune something every now and then.
Right.
It's not an instant fix.
And what were you going to say? You were going to
Well,
mention.
Shane runs a 308 with the Pantera, and we went to the D30. We had some gas use there. We had to adjust a little bit.
Okay.
That's the only issue we had.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I've never, on all the guns I've put the Defender on, I've never had an issue gassing or
Really?
anything. So I guess I got lucky.
Yeah.
You run that
Never
on your 224 when do Hawk Control
Yeah,
too.
whenever I've got a 224 Valkyrie and I absolutely love it. And with that suppressor right there, if we need to take a quiet shot, I'm the one up, and then the animals won't even hear it. They
No
won't even
kidding.
spook them. Yeah, so I mean, it's awesome. I love it. It's so quiet.
Well, I mean, definitely, those of you that and y'all know Roy's a different kind of animal, and I think that it's nice to have somebody sometimes that gets into the firearms industry that's not necessarily a gun guy, because we get stuff like what Roy put out here. I mean, he's approached it from the science functionality standpoint, and he just kind of made it function the way I don't think we were expecting it to. I know I wasn't expecting his gas to stay that far behind the projectile. And, you know, you talked to Roy. I mean, some of the things that he's kind of claimed he can actually, he doesn't affect any kind of yaw or anything like that by sending his gas beating against that projectile as it runs down that suppressor. And not many guys are able to do that. So many of these suppressor companies are so focused on having the quietest suppressor out there. I think they're willing to give up performance. In many cases, I mean, we're wanting it to perform. Again, I don't need it to be the quietest gun out there. I still want it to work, though, when I'm shooting at something. And that's one thing Roy is able to do, I think, is perfect a suppressor and not try to focus on the what do you call it, the tactical guys do. How many DBs? I think Roy probably told y'all that a million times. The first question people ask them when they walk into a booth is, how many DBs does it make it quiet? Or like, really? That's the number one thing you want to know? I mean, these things have to work, and Roy's worked. I mean, I've been very impressed with Roy's suppressors for a very long time, and I didn't know he was coming out with the 30 cal, to be honest with you. Actually, I gotta brag a little bit. He used my MP5 to design this, so I want to take that claim to fame. I did without my MP5 for a whole year while he designed that thing. So I'm happy to say he came out with something really cool, and I got a suppressor out of it too. So that was kind of neat. You guys, you got anything else y'all want to add? Because I mean, look, I want to make sure that everybody out there understands. I mean, these guys aren't paid to be here. At least I assume you're not paid to be here. But I mean, they came out all the way out here. None of these guys are local, so I want to make sure that you guys can talk about the suppressors. If y'all have anything else y'all want to add, I mean, by all means.
Y'all a minute ago, a few years back, we had a ballistics research facility out of Baton Rouge come to the range in Martinville, and we pitted. At this time, he was still making the 6 and 8 inch 30 caliber suppressors. And we put them up against the Thunder Beast, the AAC SDN6, Omega, and a handful of other suppressors. What we found is that all suppressors, as we enhance the platform's accuracy, why does the Pantera stand out the best? I did not know that there was such thing as a radar range increase, chronograph radar. That's the first time I've ever seen bullets throughout every instance throughout its flight. So when the bullet exits the muzzle, it's going to have a little bit of a yaw instability to it, and then it'll stabilize, and then somewhere way downrange it'll destabilize again. What we found was that the Pantera suppressors were causing these bullets to go to, they were sooner to the Omega, the SDN6, blah, blah, blah. And you can see the results on paper downrange, just entire groups in general. So Roy likes to joke saying that his Pantera is an accuracy enhancement device before it's a suppressor that just so happens to also suppress.
Right.
Well.
Right.
I thought that was funny.
Yeah, that's a nice twist to it.
If you really want to get into the numbers, if you go to PredatorSilencers.com, they've got a whole video section on all the numbers and all the tests that have been done with all the operators in all the different states and their opinions. If that's a good place to do a little bit of research, because they have a very long video on there about how to grade a suppressor for distance shooting and why that particular shooter chose the Pantera as the only suppressor he'll use.
I think we've all tried to run these things to where they just come apart.
Right.
We have yet to do it. How many rounds you got to your 308 now?
Oh God,
1,000 rounds.
Thousand.
Kevin the same. Yeah. We can't tear them apart.
It's funny you said that because we joke all the time at some point. Right. You guys hadn't found that failure point yet.
I've got a high dollar suppressor I put on my sniper rifle, and I've had it about 7 or 8 years, and it doesn't come apart. And they claim it's self-cleaning. Well, I call bullshit because it's there, whatever, build up carbon, and the accuracy is like. I call them and they're like, well, you're not supposed to. I'm like, well, it's affecting it.
Right.
You know, you don't have that problem with this. You can strip it down, clean it out, and that was a big selling point for me because I loved the other one and I was a big fan, but through time it's let me down.
Yeah, it's getting to the point where it's filling it up.
Yeah. I mean, you know.
Let's
They've got a
Caveat on you taking it apart. The issue he had the other night was actually fell down in the mud, and the muzzle got caked with mud. The ability to take the suppressor apart and to know that you have it thoroughly clean,
Right.
and then can go back on.
With common tools that just about every guy has laying around.
Right.
You don't have to have anything except for the Pantera, and it goes less Pantera. The thought he put into the tools
can use them, and even some of them have Allen wrench for you to be able to take the cord that you'd put out. And then the buffer to wrench design on there. I mean, you get a buffer to wrench, you can take it off.
Right.
So it's pretty good.
Anybody else? Well, gentlemen, thank you all very much, and then great to have that first. I'm a big fan of theirs, have been for quite some time, but again, like I said earlier, I'm a fan of how Roy approaches things, and I mean, I'm looking forward to him being more involved in the gun community. Again, I mean, a guy like him that's a non-gun guy entering into the gun market and be able to put something out that impressive tells me that you don't have to be a gun guy to come up with cool stuff. You just have to be a guy that understands what Roy does. I don't understand the X's and the O's behind it. I honestly don't, behind how he comes up with this. But whenever he gets it and shows it to you, it makes sense. I mean, how he came up with it from scratch is a little bit confusing to me. But the fact that you look at it and you're like, well, how come nobody else has ever done that before? Just seems like kind of a no-brainer to me that no one else has designed one like this. So kudos to Roy.
Especially not being necessarily a shooter. He never really shot before that, so that's what makes him
Yeah.
unique.
and all of his designs are patented.
Right,
So
right.
that tells you it's new and it's innovative.
That's exactly right.
But he
Yep.
for accuracy.
Well, cool, guys. Thank you all very much for joining us. We really appreciate all of you coming out today.
So thank you.
Excellent. Thanks. We're going to go ahead and get everything ready for the other one while we move all these firearms back over there.
Yeah, take the tape off the magazine, guys.
I pulled it up.
Okay, we're on.
Come on down this way a little bit. All right, guys. As you saw, some really cool stuff from Predator Silencers. You can either look up Acadian Armament or Predator Silencers, same company. They just have their actual silencers they call Predator Silencers. These guys come from all over, from Texas and Louisiana, law enforcement agencies all over the place, as you saw from central Louisiana, east side of Louisiana. So we do appreciate them coming out and taking their time to come out here and enjoy us on our range day for the 1791 Summit. A lot of good guys, a lot of seasoned shooters here, and just really interested to get that kind of point of view from guys who use these in the field for their actual job. So it's cool to experience that instead of, again, us just shooting these things and trying to work them. So they're setting everything else up for our next guest. Looks like we got, is it Strike next? Next up, we're going to have a little bit more on Strike Industries. This is a product that we're going to introduce to you guys here in a second that I'm super excited about. This is one that I've been excited about since the moment that I actually put it in my hands. And I wasn't aware they even made this product. It's an addition and a bunch of things that are added on to a CD Scorpion. This is the coolest stuff that they've ever done. I've watched Strike Industries for a very long time. In fact, you heard one of the law enforcement guys here say that he uses the Strike Industries gas block, adjustable gas block. So, I mean, law enforcement obviously sees the benefit in Strike Industries also, because his comment that he made was you can actually adjust your gas in the field without actually having to take the whole thing, apart and all of the gun and everything, because Strike Industries forward thought enough to be able to put a gas block adjustment system together that doesn't require disassembling the entire gun to do so. So again, I mean, it's pretty cool to hear somebody else talk about one of our other here at Range Day and acknowledge that these are the products that people actually use in real life. This isn't just Instagram post type stuff that they're making. This is actually using out in the field. So we're waiting for everything to get set up back over here. Jagger, if you want, just kind of sit back and just video everything until we get back into place.
Well, and see, when I shoot this one,
That's it. Yeah. Oh yeah.
it's fun.
Yeah, I'm actually going to talk about that first.
One of my favorites he's got now.
Oh yeah. 45 can right now. Yeah, it's still live.
All right, come around to this side over here if you don't mind. All right, guys. First, before we move into our Strike Industries segment of the next on the sequence program, we're going to talk to you all about this big guy. Right here, this is a Wyndham Weaponry, custom-made, legally owned America 308 rifle. This thing is free to you if you win it. If you're looking at this video on Legally Owned America, if you go in the description of the video down below, you're going to see a link down there, and that's going to be for this rifle. So if you're not watching it on legallyownedamerica.com, if you're watching it, say, on Facebook or on 1791 Summit, go over to the Legally Owned America page and when you click on the main screen on the front page, it's going to take you to a secondary page. Right below that, look, and you'll see a link down there, and it's going to be to enter to win this rifle. Anybody can enter, anybody can win it, as long as you're in a state that can receive this. If you're in a state that can't receive this legally, don't enter, because we can't transfer it to somebody else for you. It has to go to the winner. So make sure that you're in a free state that can receive this. We are in the state of Louisiana. It is for now a free state, so we can win this. So anybody in Louisiana can. And there's probably about 47 other states that probably can receive this. But I know there's a handful of them that can't. So please be aware of that. And I know I'm stressing that, but we've had people before win guns that they could not receive, and it is not an easy process. I mean, it's hard to tell somebody else you can't win this gun because you're not in a state that can receive it, and then we draw the next person. So please make sure you can win this. We do have other giveaways that we're going to be giving, some various things from Mission First Tactical. Mission First Tactical gave us some cool stuff, some everyday care, some EDC trays, dump trays, some wallets, some magazines from Mission First Tactical. We're going to be giving some of those away too. So after we draw the winner for this particular Wyndham weaponry rifle, then we'll draw for some other people that will win some other things from Mission First Tactical, some Legally Owned America t-shirts, caps, and things like that. So definitely go check it out. Again, go to the Legally Owned America page, click on the video link that's showing this video live right now, and then when you open up that next page, you'll see the link down below in that same body of that same video that's playing. It'll even say win the Legally Owned America custom Wyndham weaponry rifle there. So you'll see where to enter it. Just click on it, enter your name, enter your email, and you will be entered. Now, you can actually send other people to increase. If you actually get somebody else, enter their email, like encourage them to enter. If they click on that and use your link that you sent or that you posted, you're going to get additional entries to win this AR-15 or AR-10. So definitely take advantage of that. Again, $0 to win this thing. So this is a really, really nice setup. I got to tell you, the fact that they put everything on here the way they did, there is nothing nicer than this. Get a good close-up of this. I want to show you something. Of course, this stock, there's not many of these stocks that you're going to see out there. I didn't want adjustable stock on. We wanted a fully, I guess, static stock. We have that on there. You've got your whole for a really long time at Wyndham Weaponry, Magpul 308, 20 rounder. And if you look at the handguard, beautiful handguards got Wyndham Weaponry on it. They're six at the barrel. Put something out there like this. Of course, you got your full flat top all the way across to put whatever mounts you want on there, optics or whatever, scopes or whatnot. So this is something that you guys definitely want to get involved in, get entered into that contest and win this 308. We're excited about that. We will be giving this away on Friday. So you got 4 more days technically, to go ahead and enter that. And then you're entered into winning. So, tell your wife, tell your girlfriend, hopefully you don't have one of each, but definitely tell whoever to go out there and enter, because that way you got additional chances to win as well. I want to move on to one of our next big time partners for here at Range Day. These guys are good friends of mine for many reasons. They make great products. This is the coolest thing that I've seen anybody put out in a very long time that adds aftermarket look and appeal to an existing stock firearm. I tell you what, can you grab that other CZ Scorpion for me? You probably already are familiar with what a standard CZ Scorpion looks like. And this is the I guess that brought my CZ Scorpion over here to show you what these vanilla, I call them a sad catfish, what they look like whenever they're new. Let's lay these back next to each other so you can see them good. That's a stock CZ Scorpion, and this is a Strike facelift Scorpion. Huge difference. I'm just going to say the things off the top of my head really fast that are obvious, and then we'll go into more detail. The grip, obviously. I've always hated this grip. Look how this massively flared out grip is on this CZ Scorpion. I've always hated that. The thing functions perfectly. Anyone who's ever shot a CZ Scorpion knows that this thing right here, if you're a right-handed shooter, that it's going to dig in to your knuckle right there. And feel if it's done overall. me know when it's back up.
Back on.
Yeah, we're live.
All right. So as you can see, your charging handle is probably the coolest thing that they've done as far as making it ergonomically right. This one here sticks out a little bit farther than the other one does. This one might be hooked a little bit. I prefer the longer one right there to give you more real estate to hook onto. So again, a lot of cool stuff that they've done here. They're actually making a brace that's going to go on the back. So you're going to have their own Strike Industries brace at some point that will hook onto there. The way the current configuration is on the back of the CZ Scorpions, and again, this is a Strike Industries part also. Right now, you hook up a Picatinny rail to the CZ. What they've done is they're going to actually incorporate this whole piece and eliminate it all together so that your brace is going to hook directly to the CZ Scorpion. So they're eliminating this piece right here, which is probably good because if you look at some of the things that the ATF letters have said about the stabilizing braces, that was one thing that they kind of had a problem with, was extending the frame in any kind of way or the receiver in any kind of way to put on a stabilizing brace. So eliminating that is probably going to be a good thing. My guess is they'll still have a quick disconnect on the bottom of that too. As you can see, they got one on right there. So very cool. I'm a big fan of the CZ Scorpion as far as the functionality of it, but I don't take it out in public because it's so ugly. So it's nice to have the fact that a gun that I'm a fan of already is going to look like this instead of like this. Again, this is a pitiful looking gun. Let me shoot this thing now. And I have not zeroed in. Now notice what I was just talking about earlier. That's on safe right there. If I'm holding this gun in a safe position, I've got my finger out of the trigger guard. That's in a safe position. Whenever I'm ready to go live, I just nudge my knuckle straight forward and it gets it in and out of the way, and I'm ready to shoot this thing. Now, when my finger goes into the trigger guard, as I'm doing right now, I'm a good ½ inch away from that paddle. So I'm not even anywhere near it. So let's see what we got here. I wish I'd have brought a sling over here because my iron sights. Yeah, I'm using my, where am I hitting that thing? I don't even know where it's hitting at because I see it moving. Let's see here. Now that's the paddle I was telling you about earlier. If you want to just push this thing out of the way, you can nudge that forward. You can push this down, or you can grab it like an AK whenever you're grabbing that magazine and simply pull it, and it's going to yank it down. Let's get a little bit closer on that. I'm not even sure where I'm hitting that thing. Got my bolt open. I'm going to run down there real quick, and I'm going to close that target up so I can keep that out the middle. All right, that's good right there. I'll shoot them from right here. Let's see here. Oh, that was it. All right, as you can see, really cool setup that they've got right here. Again, a big fan already of the functionality of the CZ Scorpion, but now I feel like I can take it out in public without people laughing at me. So I'm real proud of what they've done here. Again, when you look at one of the guns that they actually retrofit, there's not much that they haven't touched. If I'm looking at this thing right now, the trigger and the receiver and the sights on here are the stock sights. Those are the same stock sights that come on it. Other than that, they have literally changed everything out and upgraded it at that. All right, guys, we're going to move on to our next guest. Who we got next? Spartan?
Yeah, it should be Spartan.
All right. In fact, let's leave that out here. That magazine you got. Guys, we're going to do something pretty cool with Spartan Armor here. Spartan Armor, big friend of the business right here. I want to show you some cool stuff that those guys have. We're going to go over some of the different items that they offer and explain a little bit about it. Level 3, it's 3 plus. That's 4. And this is their 3A. Let me find my. All right, I've got one of their charts right here that I can show you some of the cool stuff. This is pretty interesting. This is something neat that Spartan Armor puts out themselves. We'll talk about the level 3A. A lot of people out there, I believe, are intimidated to a certain degree as far as knowledge goes with body armor, not knowing what they need, why they need it, when they need it, or anything like that. And we're going to try to bridge that gap here. It's not what you think. Most states you can have it. I think a lot of people have this misinformation that they've been given that they can't own body armor, and that's not the case. There are states that have an issue with it. Actually, New York is trying to pass a law right now where, oddly enough, you can't have body armor. I don't understand who's at risk when you're wearing body armor. I don't understand who is the person at risk. But let's talk a little bit about it. You got your soft armor right here. This is a pliable armor. This is a very comfortable armor. This is something that obviously is the lowest amount of protection you're going to get from Spartan armor. What this is good to up to 44 Magnum. This right here, yes, this will stop 44 Magnum, if you can believe that. It's hard to believe that right there is going to be what's going to, if you reach a threat of 44 Magnum, that you can actually stop that. Now, let me say this. I don't want to be shot with a 44 Magnum and be able to brag that it didn't go through my armor, because your body is taking the brunt of that force that's being transferred once it hits that body armor. Body armor ain't absorbing that force, you are. So that's still going to hit you in the torso wherever you have this body armor at. But nevertheless, it's very impressive to me that you can make this woven body armor. And it's pretty neat if you look on the inside of this. I have an older video where I looked at the inside, but it's a bunch of woven fabric on the inside of it that makes this thing the way it is. So we'll do another follow-up video. We're going to be doing a bunch of videos with Spartan armor, and we'll show the actual fibers on the inside so you can understand how all that works. So very, very cool. Up to 357 SIG and 44 Magnum. Let's move on to level 3 armor. Level 3 armor is probably one of the more popular armors out there. It's obviously a good step up from your level 3A. And from a price standpoint, it keeps you out of the 3+ and the 4, obviously, from a price standpoint. Now, obviously, you're giving up some of your ballistic capabilities whenever you do that. But level 3 is still going to give you up to 7.62 NIJ rated for 6 shots at 50 feet. So that's pretty impressive to have a 7.62 round coming at you at 50 feet. And you can take 6 of them in this armor right here and still be alive, still be safe to talk about it. Now, obviously, you're still going to be absorbing the energy of that round when it hits here in your body. So, I mean, it's not going to be as bad as this soft armor would be, but you're still going to be taking that force. It's got to transfer to somewhere, and it doesn't mitigate it just by hitting the armor. Your body is still going to take that. But you'll take 308 M80 ball ammo and 7.62 by 51, basically roughly the same round, is going to be able to absorb on this. Again, 6 rounds at 50 feet is what it's tested at. Now, I do want to mention that Spartan Armor's armor, it's all NIJ tested, rated, and they have the paperwork for it. It's important that I say they have the paperwork for it because they actually have the proper NIJ rating. They don't just say that it's compliant. There's a big difference. You have some manufacturers out there who are saying that we're level 3 compliant or things like that, but yet they're just saying it because they're using similar steel, I say, not the same, but similar steel from guys like Spartan who actually paid to get their actual rating. There's a big difference between comparing your product to somebody else's who has gotten an official rating for it, an official clearance and certification for it, versus someone else who's just saying mine is like theirs. Saying yours is like somebody else does not make it NIJ rated, certified, or whatever. These guys have the paperwork to actually show that it is in fact certified. And you'll look on the labels on the back of all their armor and you're going to find all the information for all that on the back as well. So very, very important. Let's move on to the level 3+. Now the level 3+ is probably, once you get into law enforcement, this is one of the more popular ones. It does cost a little bit more. You'll notice, I'm not sure how well you can see it, but you'll notice, oddly enough, it's just made different. It's thinner than 3, but it's actually more ballistically compliant than 3. So it's just kind of a weird little anomaly there that just goes into the actual making of the armor itself. There are reasons behind that. This level 3+, it's you're looking at velocity is what your entry point usually dictates on some of these or all of these armors. You got a higher velocity that this thing can withstand. It's a smaller bullet, but a higher velocity. 5.56 rounds. It is NIJ rated for 6 rounds at 50 feet on the 3+. That's a big deal. The reason why that makes this a really popular armor stateside is because most people, if they're going to be using a rifle of some sort, they're usually not using a 308. They're usually using a 5.56. So this is a good stateside armor to have if you're using it for your own personal protection. I highly recommend the 3+ on up if you're looking for something for yourself. Again, not saying that the 3 is not a good armor, but again, if you're really looking for trying to cover all your popular bases as what you might need, I would think you're probably going to be in a lot safer position with the 3+, knowing how many 5.56 and AR-15 rounds and firearms there are out there. It's also rated up 7.62 at 50 feet, 6 shots. So that's a big deal as well. 308, 7.62 by 51, 7.62 by 39 also. So anyway, some really cool, definitely they have their ceramic coating on there too. That makes a difference as well. A lot of people don't realize the spall that you get whenever you shoot at armor. When you're shooting at armor, you got to figure it's sitting up like this on a person's body in most cases. So when you shoot, you're getting that round comes in this way, and then you get spall that goes upwards and downwards. So in a lot of, or even sideways. So in a lot of cases, you've got guys who are being shot here, and they're mitigating the threat to their torso, but they've got spall that goes out and hits them in the leg and in the arms or under the chin, and that's a big deal. One of the things that you'll notice is this coating that Spartan Armor has on here. That's really good at mitigating that spall also. That's a big deal. One thing that you also can get to mitigate that spall, I call them a spall shield, but I don't know what they call them. This is another one of Spartan Armor's. They call it their armor system, I guess, or maybe that's just the name they put on here. But that's, I call it like a spall shield, spall catcher. You put your armor in there, and what that's going to do is once it goes in, well, it's coming. It's once it hits, it's leaving that steel that armor at a whole lot lower velocity, and that spall catcher is going to get it. So you're going to be able to mitigate all that spall going out. But your coating that you have on here already, that's a big mitigation factor in terms of that. You know, if you look, you don't need to put that on the back side of it because you don't have your round hitting you on the smooth side right here. But they have that ceramic coating on the front right there, and that's a big deal. That's very important that you recognize that, because again, that's something right there that can save your life, so you're not bleeding out because you have spall that's hitting you in your legs or in your arms or under your chin. You'll also notice those as we move on to the level 4. It's thicker. It's also covered in this nylon covering right here. This is going to be kind of like your spall guard, your spall catch-all, or your spall shield, because it's got that covering over that. Now, level 4, this is your most advanced armor to date that you can have. And I think from what I understand, Spartan's working on some cooler things outside of this. But for now, this level 4 is your biggest threat assessment mitigator. Let's see, 30-06, which blows my mind, but this thing can actually thwart a 30-06 round. That blows my mind up. 2,880 feet per second that it can mitigate a 30-06 round. I know that I would not want to be on the receiving end and test this out in my torso, knowing that somebody was shooting a 30-06 round at almost 3,000 feet per second at me, and that energy had to dissipate somehow, which is going to mean it's going to dissipate on the back side over here in my torso. You will not have point out here as my legs unlock from squatting down like that. And this is kind of cool too. This is a non-ballistic trauma pad. We sat here and talked on almost every one of these about the force that you are absorbing in your body whenever something is hit. You got this 3+ armor right here. And remember, we talked about a 7.62 round. Let's say somebody shoots this thing with a 308. You can put this trauma shield behind it. And this trauma shield, when you take this shot, that round hits right here. Instead of this being right against your body, now you have this trauma shield right here that's going to mitigate a lot of that trauma going into your system, into your body. That's going to be a big difference. I'm not sure what the cost of these trauma shields are, but I know that if I were buying this, for the cost that you're going to spend on a good set of armor, you may as well go ahead and get the trauma shields and throw those in as well in the event that you actually have to use them. That's kind of a big deal. I would really recommend that. Let's let's see here. This is well, that's a 3+. I think we're going to shoot this one. We're actually going to take one of these things down. I wanted you guys to see this. We're going to take some rounds and put it on this 3+. Again, we talked about earlier how the 3+ was one of the more popular pieces of armor out there, especially say with law enforcement, mainly because it's going to take up to that 5.56 round. It's important. Let's see. I want to look at all the different rounds that it'll take. 5.56, 7.62. So yeah, 308 and 5.56 essentially is what it's going to take. The velocities is what we're worried about. So you've got big chunks of lead coming at you really, really fast. That's critical in terms of how we, I guess we design. Oh, wait a minute. This is the one we're going to shoot. Come up a little closer. I want to show you something. This is a 3+. This is why I had this one out. Where is the? I don't see the acronym for what that stands for. Where is that one at? I want to share the acronym of what it is. Here it is. Okay, I'm going to show you a profile of this. This is the AT6. It's a patented design from Spartan Armor. It's their advanced triple curve. I don't know why I couldn't remember that. Most of your armor, you've got a single curve in it. If you look at the profile of this, you see how it curves one way. It's got one motion that it curves. It does not curve this way. This piece right here, let's see, look at it that way, and you'll notice the curve that it has here. But look at the curve here. It curves down, across, and then back down again. It's triple curves. That's to be able to do that, you don't just bend steel to do that. You lose strength and you weaken the steel when you start bending on it. They've managed to put this triple curve into their steel and not lose any of their strength and still keep it at 3+. Where that also helps is comfort. If you're having to wear armor all day long, it's one thing for somebody to grab their plate carrier and throw it on occasionally during the day or whenever there's a perceived threat. It's another thing to have to wear this all day long. And this triple curve right here makes it fit your body a whole lot better. So it's going to be way more comfortable to wear throughout the day without giving up any of your protection. So that's the cool benefit of that advanced triple curve that they have, because now you're going to get the benefit of comfort along with that 3+ protection all day long. Let's go shoot one of these. Derek's going to run that thing down range real quick. I want you to see the ballistic protection that you're going to get through all of this. We're going to shoot it first with a 9mm, and then we're going, in fact, to Strike Industries, and then we're going to run 5.56 also, so you can see that. So we actually talked about, you know what? Why don't you grab a couple of those? Grab, I guess, one of the 30 cals or the 300 blackout and the Daniel Defense. We'll shoot that also. All right, let's take this thing up there real quick. I'm going to put one round in it. I'm just going to take the one round that I need. Let's see. I don't need all of these. I'm only going to shoot one in it. I'm just going to load one up. All right, come on. All right, stay right there. All right, here's 9mm into the 3+ armor. All right, come on up here. Okay, like we were talking about earlier, what we call spall. Whenever you shoot this steel, the rest of it has to go somewhere. You'll notice we made impact. Let me take this thing off and I'll show you. We made impact right there. That's our spall right there. That's the rest of the debris that flew off of that round, because again, it had to go somewhere. It does not disintegrate. You see, when they talk about 6 rounds at however many feet, this is why, because you're starting to now tear away at your ceramic coating of your steel. So you're going to start losing that protection of being able to mitigate that spall, being able to go all over the place, because now you're down to raw steel on your plate now. But again, that's a perfect example right there. This right here If this were faced upwards like this, all that would have gone into my chin, all of this, or it would have gone down into my legs. Now, in many cases, your plate carrier is going to mitigate a lot of that. So just keep that in mind also. We aren't walking around with these raw plates like this. So that's the cool thing. That's one reason why I have to say, and I want to stress, that when you get a plate carrier, don't go out there and buy a $50 plate carrier because it's the cheapest and it's just as good. It's not. It needs to be made with the strongest material that you can actually get, so that when you get that spall and that any of that rebound that's coming off of that, your plate carrier, if you don't have one of those spall catchers or whatever, like I looked at a while ago, if you don't have one of those on there, your plate carrier should act as that. I would rather my plate carrier be my backup and put something else on there. But a cheap plate carrier, you're going to have this stuff go right straight through it. It's not going to catch it. It's going to leave that steel and it's going to run right through there and hit you in the chin, inside of your arms, or down on your legs. So not only that, you got some other stuff down there you don't want it hitting. So this is definitely a good setup to have with a quality plate carrier, because again, you're going to push the round out of your way. This is a 9mm round, by the way. We're going to move on to a 5.56 now. My guess is you'll get a good representation of spall on that as well. All right, guys. This is one of my legally owned America wind and weaponry rifles. I do want to point out real quick, what was it I was looking at earlier? I do have the Mission First minimalist stock. We were talking about that earlier, how it was one of my favorite stocks. I wasn't joking. That's actually, it's on my favorite rifle, so I have my favorite stock on there. Let's see here. I don't know if I have this thing zeroed in, but we're about to find out. Oh, I guess I need a round in there. All right, let's go take a look. You can see why velocity matters. Bigger hunk of lead over here with the 9mm, that was a 5.56 round, but look how much bigger of the ceramic coating it actually took off of there. Much bigger difference. The velocity matters when you're talking about your round. That's why in many cases you're talking about feet per second whenever you're talking about the ballistic capabilities of your armor. So again, you can see again all of my spall that comes out of there, that the difference that it makes, all that's going somewhere. Nothing on the backside. Not even anything in the slightest as far as damage on the backside of that. This is again 3+ steel from Spartan Armor. Let's run on to the 300 blackout now, and a little bit bigger hunk of lead on that one. All right, I'm gonna get a little closer on this one because just using iron sights on this. All right, here we go. Come on down. I want to show my bolts open. All right, let's look at this thing. Well, that probably wasn't the best demonstration because it looks like it hit right below where the 5.56 was. But you can see that it's pretty much the same impact. Roughly the 5.56, again, because of its velocity, was a little bit bigger tear on the ceramic, but we had a little bit smaller tear on that. And as you can see, that's where you've got your spall and everything that runs out from it, all your fragments that left from the round once it made contact. But obviously, there's nothing on the back. This right here, those little lines you see, that's where it sits in the target holder right there. There's nothing, no indicator on the back. This is actually where the 308 black or the 300 blackout hit, and that should be about where the 5.56 round hit. And as you see, no indicator whatsoever on there. Again, 3+ steel by Spartan Armor is going to give you maximum protection. So I can't say enough about how awesome their armor is. If you want peace of mind, you can use this. One thing that I do want to point out, we've actually purchased with our own money some of the cheaper steel that you have out there are some of the cheaper body armor that's out there. And we did it for, I guess, for a purpose. We feel like we don't want to see people buying cheap body armor and feeling like they're going to be getting the same protection they're going to get on good body armor. There's a reason why this stuff costs a little more than your $50 plates online. It's because this stuff is properly NIJ certified, and it actually stops things. It has the ballistic capabilities that it actually says that it has. And we're going to show that. We're actually going to run some demonstrations, again, where we bought some of the cheaper body armor that's rated the same, that has the same 3+ rating on it. We're actually going to run some demos on that body armor so you guys can see that there is a huge difference between what somebody says their armor is and what armor really is when it's properly NIJ certified. And that's going to be something cool. Look for those videos from Legally Armed America, because we're going to be putting those out probably in the next couple of months, a series of them actually, really talking about the benefits and the differences in your different types of body armor. And Spartan armor I've found is one of the best out there. So again, don't always look for your bargain basement Amazon steel. That's not always the best place to get it. When they say NIJ, don't be fooled. And if you see the letters NIJ, don't automatically assume it's the same as everybody else, because there's a difference between NIJ compliant, NIJ certified. If they can't provide you papers with your armor, then it's not properly rated. So, or at least not officially rated, I should say. All right, guys, we're going to move on. Who's our next guest?
It's going to be Dirty Boar.
Dirty Boar. All right, let's move on to Dirty Boar Cleaner. All right. Now, earlier we shot the Dirty Boar, the Rock Island Armory. Earlier we shot this, and we shot it quite a few times so far. But what I did before we actually shot it was we cleaned this thing up, and we put some of the Dirty Boar, one of our partners for today, we put some of the Dirty Boar CLP on it. So we would actually have a level of protection. Let me see here. That thing is tough. I wanted to make sure that we were able to demonstrate properly the level of protection that we were able to get on this particular firearm. Okay, as you can see, we've got a good bit of carbon buildup inside there. Now, what I did earlier is I sprayed this CLP by Dirty Boar on there. I cleaned this gun really good, and then I sprayed that on there. The CLP is meant to lubricate the parts so that any of your carbon buildup and fouling comes right off. So let me show you this. I want to make sure that I don't leave anything on here. It doesn't wipe right off. That's not dirty, but you can see right inside the chamber there. I see some fouling inside. Not much. Now, I want you to see this real quick. Look at the top right here. Let's see how quickly and easily it comes off. Not much, but it came right off. Look at the breech face right there too. That's where you can usually get a lot of carbon buildup. That comes right off. I mean, pretty much with your finger. And I can feel how you can look and see how lubricated that whole area still is. That's one thing about, there's different uses and different ways to use this stuff. One of the cool things about Dirty Boar is they've got a couple of different products that they have, and there's reasons for both of these. And I asked these questions because I wanted to know, okay, why would I use this one instead of just using this one all the time? And this was the explanation that I got from Phil, one of their owners. Phil explained to me that the cleaner itself, use this first. And what that's going to do is, I'm going to go ahead and put that bolt handle back in there. If you use this first, where is it? There it is. That what you're going to allow yourself to do is make sure that you're mitigating any of the buildup from being able to catch itself back on there. So break this thing down, hit it with your bio-based cleaner everywhere. You clean that thing up really good, and what you'll do is you're getting every single thing off of it that might be on there, everything. In other words, if it's something that's imported, you're able to get all that cosmoline off. It'll break that cosmoline down completely. If you got any kind of an imported weapon of any sort. And then, because your cleaner is extremely, I don't want to say aggressive, because it's certainly not aggressive. It's all bio-based. But it's certainly going to get in there and really, it's concentrated, so it's going to pull a lot of that crap out of there. Now, after you do that, even though the CLP is like, because it's a CLP, clean, lubricate, and protect, if you put that on there, you've already done the cleaning part, so it's good that you did it, because again, this is a little bit more abrasive, and again, not abrasive, but a little more aggressive as far as its cleaning agents. Now you've got a little bit of protection in here by having a silica base in there. That silica base now is providing a layer of support inside that's going to give you, when that carbon gets splattered against that, any kind of fouling, any kind of buildup, now it's going to go in there and it's going to coat all those parts, and I don't care what parts they are, because you got carbon fouling and buildup all over your firearm whenever you shoot it, even on your muzzle devices. You put all that on there, and the next time you go to shoot it, now you want to wipe it all off, because again, you don't want to have it to where it's something that now dust and dirt and everything grabs hold of and builds up on automatically. But once you do that, you're able to keep this thing now coated, and you can feel it on there. I mean, if I wipe all of this off, I can still feel that silicone base on there, but you can see how clean this thing is. And I mean, that was because earlier I cleaned it with the cleaner first, then put the CLP on it, then wiped everything clear. And then we ran it, I don't know, we probably shot 25 or 30 rounds through it today. And as you know, shotgun shells are notoriously dirty whenever they're shot. Now, one thing I did not do is clean the muzzle with it. So I'm going to use the cleaner on it now, because I'm sure we had plenty of gases and junk come out of it. It's not terribly bad, actually. Yeah, it's not terribly bad. But I'm going to go ahead and protect this thing anyway. Now, keep in mind that whenever I do this, the first time I shoot it, it's probably going to smoke a little bit. That's harmless, but it's just burning that stuff off. Anything that's on there gets hot, and it may burn off some. Actually, I know people who will film a video and coat their barrels with stuff like this to give it that smoking effect. But nevertheless, I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, I coated everything, so everything in here is going to be very, very clean. Really not even having to use cleaner, because I already have it coated with that CLP. So yeah, I mean, there's nothing on here. This thing is super clean already. So I'm a big fan of it, guys. We use this. Again, these guys have been developing this product for about 3 years now. I know Phil and his whole staff, and they've been letting me use this. I've had boxes of this stuff sent to me for the last couple of years, and that's all I use. So definitely recommend you trying it. If it were me, I'd keep one of each in your vehicle or in your range bag. But if you had to settle on one, the CLP is probably your best bet. It's just not as harsh of a cleaner as the actual cleaner is. The cleaner is going to get the really good, nice dirt and grime. If it were me, maybe use your cleaner the first time on a gun and just get it completely clean. And then once you're done with that, your CLP is probably going to keep up and do the trick after that, because once you put your cleaner, then your CLP, again, you put that silicone base down on there. So now everything's going to come off pretty easy. You probably won't have to do much, if anything. Most of it's probably going to blow off. Again, you want to wipe it down to where it's not wet, because you don't want it wet, so wet that anything sticks to it. But that silicone base that still remains behind, whenever you have the rotation and the cycling of your action, it's probably going to blow most of that carbon fouling and everything and shake it right out of there, because now it can't stick to the metal of your firearm because you provided that silicone base to it. Big deal. That's a big deal. May seem like we're making small things out of big things, but putting that silicone base in your CLP cleaner makes a big difference whenever you're trying to maintain the cleaning of a gun. And let's face it, guys, people aren't cleaning their weapons the way they're supposed to. We know that. A lot of you out there watching this know that. You're not cleaning your guns when you get in from the range. I know people who will text me 3 months after it, hey, you know anybody can clean some guns? And they haven't cleaned their guns since then. If you had that CLP on there by Dirty Boar, at least it's going to be a layer of protection that's not allowing all that fouling and everything to start pitting and working into your steel of your actual gun now. So it's not a nice layer of protection that you can have on there, where I'm not encouraging abuse, but you could abuse your firearm and it's not going to cause any long-term damage to it. All right, guys, we're going to move on to our next guest here. Who we got next? Looks like Strike again, right? All right, this is cool. All right, let's see. This is neat. This is something that I've been excited about for a long, long time from our friends over at Strike Industries. These guys, like the AR that you saw earlier, like the CZ Scorpion that you saw earlier, these guys are no strangers to innovation, no strangers to dressing things up and making things look nice. They pretty much have done the same thing. Again, we've got unloaded weapons. This is the only ammo we have in a magazine. It's staying off over here. But this weapon here is unloaded. Let me open this up real quick, and I want to show you something. Well, actually, that one here, I can't take that one off. Let's see. I wanted to take the muzzle piece off, but I'm going to have to take that off in a second because it requires an Allen wrench to take that off. I wanted to show you guys this. You guys might remember in the news a while back the way the ATF was picking on and rated Polymer 80. When you go to Polymer 80 and you order an 80% complete lower for a pistol, this is essentially what you're getting. In fact, other than the design, this is almost exactly what you're getting. The reason why is because this is a Strike 80 and it's made by Polymer 80. What they did was Polymer 80 got with Strike Industries, or the other way around, Strike Industries got with Polymer 80. Strike Industries designed this entire lower receiver, got with Polymer 80. Polymer 80 manufactures them, and they make, again, what's called a Strike 80. And you put this jig on here. Those of you that are not familiar with the 80% lowers, it comes with this kit right here with the internal parts. Plus, it's got 2 drill bits in there. You drill out these 3 holes right here. And then essentially there's minor stuff that you have to do after that. And you wind up with a usable frame for the bottom. This is actually a completed one. This is one that is actually serialized. And if you see, it's a prototype from Strike Industries. It's SI0001. That's the working prototype that these guys have. This is a cool setup. One of the things we're going to do is we're going to run some rounds through this real quick. And I want you to see how smooth this thing is. And one of the cool things about this is they approach this thing from an ergonomic standpoint. So the frame itself is not just designed to look pretty. They actually designed it with ergonomics in mind to make it more comfortable to shoot. I know shooting a gun and watching it on video are 2 different things. They don't look or feel the same whenever you're watching it, but just bear with me real quick. Hold on one second. Let me lock this back. Let's put our target back up down there. I'm going to talk about this for a second. What they've done here while we're setting our target up is we have 2 slides that they put on. This first slide with a circular fluted barrel is, both of these slides, by the way, are Strike Industries. You'll notice this one is going to be fluted also. But this one right here is, of course, this flat dark earth. But they put it to where they're both milled out on top, where you can put your MRO on top or whatever optic you want to put, red dot. But it's got a thread protector on there. And I'm a real fan of how they did this. They have a small little O-ring on there to where you don't have to over tighten this thing. When you push it back on there, and it's a SI Strike Industries thread protector. When you push it on there, that O-ring flattens out and it holds that thread protector on there. But the cool thing they did on this other one is they have what they call their comp. This is the comp that is one of the neatest comps that I've seen anybody put out. The cool thing about the comp that Strike Industries made is that it does not require a threaded barrel. You don't need a threaded barrel for this because remember, there's a lot of states that don't let you have a pistol with a threaded barrel. This is, and correct me if I'm wrong, somebody out there, I'm pretty sure this is the only comp that's legal in all 50 states because you can put it on a pistol that does not have a threaded barrel. So this is legal everywhere. So you don't have those weird non-freeze states out there that won't allow you to have that. But it's really cool. You take this Allen wrench and put it in the end, pull this little cap off, and the whole comp comes off. The piece that you have that's different is your guide rod in here. I assume it uses the same guide rod spring, but your guide rod either has an extension or something that allows the guide rod to come through this hole on the comp, and it screws in here to hold it onto the front of your pistol. It doesn't change anything. It doesn't come off. You simply tighten it down and it does what it needs to do. And it really mitigates recoil and keeps all the blowback facing forward whenever you shoot it. We'll run that thing here in a second. Let me go ahead and shoot this one first. Well, did I have my magazine in all the way? I must not have. All right, that's not. I must have had a round that got pinched. Yep, it got crimped. We have in there. I'm going to take that one off. I don't know what's going on. I shot this thing yesterday. I don't know what the deal is. Let's see. That's the beauty of shooting stuff live. Let's try this one. I know both of these work because I shot them both the last 2 days. Yeah, something's up with the rounds. Trying to hit that one to the right. I don't know what the deal is with that ammo. Let's swap that ammo out. Which one did you use on the first ones? All right, let's don't use that one. I think I have some other ammo. I shot this with arms core the other day, and the arms core worked fine. So I'm going to use arms core again on this because it seemed like they wasn't feeding right.
Have we got 10%?
Try this other one again. I know they work, so I'm comfortable trying to put these back together the same way. And you know, we're sitting here talking about lubricating it.
Hey, Bob, we got 10% battery left.
Okay. All right. Try this again. Yes, it's not. It's like that first round's not wanting to go in right. All right.
I got some ammo in the truck.
All right. We're going to shoot this thing one more time, the other comp. I want you to see how that comp works. Again, I'm not sure if there's a certain ammo that they wanted us to use with this or not, but I'm going to lubricate this one also. It seems like, you know what we might do? How many you got in there?
10.
I wonder if that magazine isn't dirty. This gun is perfectly clean. Yep, the magazine. I think this magazine is dirty because that's what's hiccuping whenever it's trying to come in there. This is going to be a good demonstration of why you should clean your magazines also. Look here, I'm going to push this down. One of y'all shoot some of that in there. One more time. All right. Now you should take your magazine apart to clean them, but since this is CLP and we're trying to get this thing rolling quickly, I'm just going to do it that way. Hopefully some of that CLP makes it down into that spring area below the follower and cleans that up. Let's try that. Again, this thing, there's nothing wrong there. It's definitely smooth and that's clean. 10. I guess that's a good example right there, cleaning magazines, because that was definitely a dirty magazine. These guns are clean. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it was, because it was hiccuping on that first round, wanting to come through. All right. Yeah, it's like the slide's not going back far enough.
Let's see if that other one works.
Well, we're not going to run that one again. Let's see. I'm going to run that one more time. I want to see something real quick. You're going to need 10 in there. How many you got?
That'll be 10.
Okay. I'm going to hit the little blue plate. There we go. Boy, it won't send it all the way. All right. Well, as you can see, cleaning a magazine helps a little bit. I still think that we probably have an extremely dirty magazine right here, because what's happening is those rounds are not coming out of there fast enough that we're supposed to. It's a little bit better on this one now, but what's happening is you've got, when I was shooting this slide, the round was coming up and the other round was, it wasn't coming completely out of the magazine. It wasn't stripping it all the way. So it's not coming out of here fast enough. I feel like this thing's probably still dirty. We'll take it down in a little while. You can take the whole base plate off of it. One thing I do want to point out about their base plates, I'm pretty sure that with the Strike Industries base plate that they have on here that's adding 5 rounds to a Glock 19 magazine, that's a pretty substantial amount of additional rounds to have in there. And to not make this thing crazy long. I mean, if you look, you got your mag well, you probably got maybe an inch more of what your magazine base is going to stick out beyond your mag well, and that's adding 5 rounds. So to me, that's a pretty substantial difference right there for a Glock 19 if you're going to carry this thing. They have a lot of the things on here, and we'll get a close-up on all this stuff. Just like with the CZ and the AR, a lot of things on here are all Strike Industry made. And at some point, everything on these guns will be Strike Industry made. From the barrel to the comp, to the springs, to the frame completion kits, all that is. And mag release, you can see they have their larger mag release paddle on there. All that stuff is all Strike Industries manufactured. These guys make cool stuff. So one of the things we're going to be doing is we'll be talking to Danny tomorrow on one of our virtual booths, and I guess I can kill this right now. We'll be talking to Danny tomorrow about more of these products and talk more about what they have coming up, because Strike Industries has a whole plethora of things that they have out right now. As I said earlier, they're constantly, we'll use that in a minute, they're constantly introducing new products. I want to say weekly they introduce new products. So you can always find new products that Strike Industries is putting out there, whether it be AR parts, CZ Scorpion parts, Glock parts. At some point, if I haven't said it yet, and I think I did, you will be able to purchase every single part to complete your own Glock 19, roughly, but polymer and Strike 80. So You'll be able to get everything from the Strike Industries website. That's a big deal because they haven't done that before. Up to now, they've always made accessories to other people's firearms. So now you're going to be able to purchase everything to build your own complete Strike Industries Strike 80 pistol. That's going to be pretty cool. So, and as you can see, just to give you guys an idea, you will be able to buy these. Get up close on that. You will be able to buy these either from Strike Industries, that they'll complete them for you 100%, and you'll have it serialized, and you'll buy that through filling out a Form 4473 and a normal background check, having it sent to an FFL, or you'll be able to get a Strike 80 frame, finish it yourself, and you do not have to serialize it. So it will be offered both ways. You will be able to get a complete one if you don't feel comfortable milling it out and finishing one yourself and assembling it, or you can just get one and make it a project gun and have a little bit of fun putting it together and customize it your own way. So that's going to be kind of cool. So, all right, guys, we're going to get out of here. Remember, tomorrow, starting at, I believe, 10 o'clock again tomorrow, Central Standard Time, we're going to have our virtual booths, and we have guests like Rock Island Armory, Spartan Armor, Daniel Defense, Pyramid Air. We also have pro shooter Max Michelle is going to be on with us. We also have, if you remember from the Benghazi story, 13 Hours, Chris Tonto Peranto, one of the guys actually there that fought off the insurgents for however many hours and realized that no one was coming to save them. Chris is going to be on our show also tomorrow. Chris and I have become pretty good friends, and he's always on all of our live streams, and he's excited to come on here. So we're excited to have him. We're also going to give away some of Chris's books. I believe I have 3 of Chris's books that we're going to give away, so that's going to be kind of cool too. So if you want to tune in tomorrow, check it out. Again, Chris Tonto Peranto and Max Michelle will also be part of our live streams tomorrow with books by Chris Tonto that we're going to be giving away to some of our viewers. So check it out tomorrow. Again, go to legallyarmedamerica.com. I would just go to legallyarmedamerica.com because who knows when YouTube is going to take it down again, and Facebook's likely to take it down as well. So just go to our main page, legallyarmedamerica.com, and everything will be streamed directly to there. Cut out the middleman, and it's a lot easier to go directly to that content and get it without somebody else suppressing it. So, guys, we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks again to Daniel Defense and Strike Industries for being such big partners for us today, and everybody else that actually took care of us today. Chick-fil-A served us breakfast and lunch out here today, and everybody else that helped us out here today. We appreciate everything, and we'll see you guys tomorrow for our virtual booth for the 1791 Summit wrap-up.